Hey, it's Health Coach Tara, and today we are here at our local grocery store and we're going to do a grocery store walkthrough. So make sure you click the subscribe button and the bell notification down below. Hey, it's Health Coach Tara, and here we are at our grocery store. We're at our local Hy-Vee, which is our favorite place in our hometown to shop. And we are going to walk you through department by department and just kind of go through what you can eat on keto and how to find those things. Because sometimes there's some hidden gems in the grocery store, and you'll see what I mean once we get to our bulk department. But here we are starting in produce. So over here in the produce section, we're going to find a number of items. So fresh food. So usually when you shop, you want to kind of stick to the outer aisles. But there's a couple things that we're going to find in the inside aisles. So here we are approaching the produce section. So of course, celery is an easy one, a good low-carb vegetable for the keto diet. You can take this, we like to put almond butter in it because peanuts are kind of borderline. So peanuts are controversial because they're actually a legume. And we don't eat legumes on a ketogenic diet. But they're high, they fit the rest of the qualifications. So some people will allow it, or maybe just a little every once in a while. So we like to do this normal celery with like almond butter in it, which is really yummy. So what you're looking for is low carb vegetables, right? So a lot of times you're gonna have a package where you can see how many carbohydrates. So sweet peppers is something that I get asked about a lot. And you can have a little bit of sweet peppers, maybe one of these, because in 3 peppers you've got 8 carbs, 3 grams of fiber. So that's 5 net carbs. So that's exactly how you calculate net carbs. Is your total carbs minus your fiber, and you get your net carbs. Cauliflower, of course, we've all seen like cauliflower crust pizzas and so many recipes made with cauliflower. So cauliflower is great for the keto diet. It's also beneficial because it's really good for cleansing your body. It's a cruciferous vegetable. So cauliflower, broccoli, green beans are, if you look at green beans, you're gonna find that 5 grams of total carbs in a serving, 3 grams of fiber, so 2 net carbs. So servings of green beans are completely acceptable. You'll notice I skipped over apples and pears, and that's because those have a higher sugar content. So we generally don't eat much of those on a keto diet unless you've been on a really long time and you can allow a little more carbohydrates in your diet. Tomatoes, of course, we know that tomatoes are actually a fruit, but small amounts on the keto diet are okay, especially in recipes. You just have to really watch to make sure you're not getting too many carbs. Carrots are a little bit higher carb vegetables, so sometimes you'll see carrots maybe in a traditional cabbage recipe, or maybe just some shaved carrots over a salad. That's perfectly acceptable. Cucumbers are great for the keto diet. They're hydrating, they're good for you, they're delicious. There's a couple recipes on my channel, one for a cucumber salad, which is really yummy. Grapes are pretty much a no-no. Grapes, watermelons, melons, because they have a high sugar content, and we're looking for low carb, right? So we're looking, and not just low carb on a keto diet. And we'll be talking about that more as we go on. So here's a few fruits we can have on a keto diet, and these are actually my favorite fruits anyhow. So we have raspberries, of course, blueberries, blackberries, all great during the summer months for your keto diet. And here we have mushrooms, so we don't want to skip over mushrooms. All different kinds of mushrooms. Mushrooms are a great, we consider them a superfood. They're one of the only foods where you can get your vitamin D in a food. So we like to do a lot of mushrooms, squashes, so like spaghetti squash, yellow squash, zucchini, things like that. Again, like zoodles, which are zucchini noodles, is a really popular option as a noodle replacement. Again, you've got to watch your serving sizes, your overall carb count. And then we have some different greens, and of course, all of your greens. So pretty much all of your greens, your spinach, your spring mixes, your blends, they're all going to be okay. The important thing is to watch that salad dressing. So make sure that you're choosing a low-carb salad dressing, or you cannot believe how easy it is to make your own salad dressing, and you'll find a number of recipes like across the internet and also here at Tara's Keto Kitchen on the YouTube channel. So that pretty much wraps up the produce section, and we're going to move over into the bulk bins, and I'm going to show you some little hidden gems in there. All right, so here we are walking into the bulk section of Hy-Vee. And so off to my left here, we have we've got almonds, all different kinds of flavored almonds, which are great for the keto diet. Cashews, again, cashews are a legume, so we tend to avoid those or really minimize those. If you take a look at the label, you're going to notice that one serving has 10 total carbs with only 1 gram of fiber. So cashews are a higher carb nut, so tend to really avoid those. Your sunflower seeds, sunflower nuts, those are great. Those are delicious sprinkled on top of salads. That's one of the things that I use instead of croutons. So you can really enjoy that. Pumpkin seeds are a great little snack, and totally okay on keto. You've got pepitas, all different kinds. Filberts, those are fine. You've got pistachios. Pistachios are a little bit higher in carbs, so you want to be careful not to eat too many of those. Brazil nuts. Again, peanuts we already talked about. Peanuts are a legume, so they're one of those things that you kind of have to make the decision for yourself. The carbs fit, but if you're dealing with a lot of inflammation or you're struggling to lose weight, that might be something you want to cut out of your diet. So then we have pecans. Your mixed nuts, just be careful. Take a look at the mixed nuts. Make sure they don't have cashews in them. Or if you have someone who's not on keto in your family, you can give them the cashews. That works. The walnuts are also great for the keto diet. So you're kind of starting to understand that nuts in general are a pretty good choice, except for your cashews, and peanuts are a little questionable. So we have just tons of options here at Hy-Vee. I'm going to keep on going. Flaxseed, you want to be careful with flaxseed if you are female or male. So flaxseed can actually mimic estrogen in the body. So you want to be careful with that. Do your research and make sure that it's something that is going to work okay for your body. I know many people who use it successfully, but there's also people such as myself, who avoid it completely. So as we come down here, this is where I'm going to show you some hidden gems. So if you get way down here, you have a lot of different flours. So here's like your traditional wheat flour, and of course we avoid grains on keto, so we're going to ignore the wheat flour. But hidden down here right in the middle is coconut flour. And coconut flour is one of my favorite flours to bake with on the keto diet. It's very versatile. There's some tricks to learn when you use it, because a 1/4 cup of coconut flour is equivalent to a cup of normal flour. So keep that in mind when you start experimenting. Getting it in bulk is a really great idea because you need such a small amount to bake with, and if you're experimenting with it, I really like the idea of buying it in bulk. And so then if we keep on coming down here, we're going to hit our almond flour. So there's 3 different types of almond flour here. We have almond meal, natural raw almond meal, and blanched almond meal. So for baking, I always choose this blanched almond meal. You want a super fine blanched almond flour, and you want to avoid these other almond meals for baking just because of the coarse grind. And also, if you come in closer and you take a look at this almond meal, you can see it's dark. And that's because the skin of the almonds is still on the almond meal when they grind it. If you take a look at the blanched almond meal, you notice it's white, and that's because the skin has been removed. So that's the main difference between the different types of almond flours. So then of course, coffee. Coffee is totally allowable on a keto diet. Coffee does have a little bit of carbs. I have never had a problem with it. I've not heard of other people having a problem with drinking coffee. But again, anytime you are stuck, you've hit a plateau, you're not making the progress you want to make, things have slowed down, that's when it's time to make adjustments. So knowing where the carbs are in your diet, knowing about the legumes, the peanuts and cashews, those are things that you can make adjustments to. So the rest of the bulk section really doesn't have very much for us that's keto friendly. But before we jump into the bulk of the store, I want to take you over to the prepared foods area, because last night when we were walking around, I actually found something that's keto and delicious and that you should know about. All right, so here we are at the prepared food case. And you probably have something like this in your local grocery store. And so I didn't talk about avocados because avocados really aren't in season right now, so we didn't see them out in the organics department. But here we have a prepared guacamole. So I'm just going to do a quick check of the ingredients. So we have avocado, vinegar, jalapeno peppers, salt, dehydrated onion, and granulated garlic. So what I'm looking for as I look through the ingredients list is any added sugar. Sugar can be kind of hidden in here in a number of different ways. So if you don't recognize an ingredient, just pick your phone up and do a quick Google search and see what it is. So guacamole is great. A lot of times they have these, for those of us who like a chunky guacamole, a lot of times they have these prepared salsas that you can add in. Again, like our Hy-Vee here has a number of different dips, so you can go through and choose different things, and just looking for those sugars. Dips make a great tool to stuff your mushrooms with. It's like a quick and easy cheat. So I'll give you that tip. But we have a lot of different options, so I don't want to stand here and read every label for you. So again, we have more guacamole. And then here at the end, we have some really yummy cheese curds. So cheese is completely allowed on a keto diet. Again, I always take a quick glance at the back. So this cheese, 1 ounce, is 1 carb per serving. So Hy-Vee is kind of unique because we have this like huge spread of artisanal cheeses. And this is one of our favorite things about these stores is just so many options with cheese. It's all together. Of course, you can also find cheese over in the milk and dairy case, but these are more more delicious, higher priced cheeses, I guess I would describe it. So again, cheese curds in all different flavors. This is from a local creamery to our area. You're probably going to find some local options wherever you are. Here you can even get like Gouda curds. So as you look at the packaging, and I encourage you to look at the packaging, you're going to notice like these have 2 grams of carbs per serving. So what's going on? Why is there a variability in the cheeses? Well, that's because cheese does have sugar in it. Milk, if you look at a gallon of milk, milk has sugar in it, and that's lactose. So that's like a milk sugar. So your more aged cheeses, so your cheddar cheeses, are going to be lower in carbs. So this one has 0.1 grams. This is an aged cheddar cheese, 0.1 grams per serving. So the more aged it is, the lower the carb count, because the process of aging the cheese reduces that carb count naturally. Here is a product that's fairly new to us, the Folio's cheese wraps, and that's really delicious. And this one has 1 carb per cheese wrap. So that's pretty nice low carb wrap. And then one other product that I want to point out before we leave this area is bread cheese. This Carr Valley brand is our favorite brand. There's a number of other brands, so if that's not the one that's available to you, that's okay. But this is cheese, and if you slice it up, you can cook it whole or you can slice it into sticks, and you can pan fry it. You can actually warm it up in the microwave too, and that makes a quick and easy cheese stick that's friendly to the keto diet. All right, so here I want to take a moment to talk about seafood. So seafood such as salmon is a great option for those on a keto diet. You really pretty much most fish and seafood. Of course, you want to check your carb counts, but they're very keto friendly. One thing I want to warn you about is imitation crab meat. So imitation crab meat is not real crab, and it contains quite a few carbohydrates. So if you take a look at the ingredients, you've got wheat starch, sugar, cornstarch, sorbitol. It contains 2% of less, and that's where you find the crab and a whole bunch of different fish. So you want to stay away from the imitation crab meat. And then you also want to make sure that if you're buying salmon and it's been cooked or it might have a glaze on it, you want to take a look at the ingredients. And this one, it's salmon, salt, and sugar. So sugar's here, so we would want to avoid this option. So we're just looking for that added sugar. We want to avoid that. Again, here we have shrimp, and they have two different options. One of them is marinated, one of them is not. Actually, there's a couple different marinades. So again, if I take a quick glance at the label, I'm going to see this marinade contains high fructose corn syrup, something we avoid on keto. So I would go ahead and purchase the unmarinated and do that myself. So then the same thing applies as you go through your meat case. Just paying attention to anything that's already prepared, already marinated. A lot of the time the marinade ingredients aren't on the label, so you'll have to ask about those, or you can just choose unmarinated and take care of that yourself. So here we have some seasoned firecracker Brussels sprouts. Those are probably okay, but you would want to ask about the ingredients in the marinade. Same with your asparagus. Asparagus isn't really in season right now, so I'm kind of excited to see this. I didn't look for it. You have some stuffed mushrooms. You know, sometimes stuffed mushrooms are fine, but this one is imitation crab and herb stuffed mushrooms. Sounds delicious, but we want to avoid that imitation crab. Your best choices of meats, contrary to what we've been taught, for keto is going to be your fattier cuts of meats. So you're going to be looking for things with nice, so beef with nice marbling. You're going to want to leave your fat on your pork if you're eating pork. So things like ribeyes are really good choices. And then your roasts, again, choose a higher fat cut. You can choose leaner cuts if that's what you prefer, but you just want to make sure that you're cooking it with fat. Maybe you're using avocado oil or MCT oil to saute or sear it in. Coming into sausages and bacon and things like that, you want to make sure that you are reading the ingredients list. So here we have our special recipe honey breakfast sausage link. Well, we have honey in the description, so that's most likely going to be something we don't want to choose. Sausage, bacon, things like that are actually cured with a little bit of sugar. So it is fairly hard to find zero sugar. You just want to find the least amount of sugar possible in these and have these occasionally, not every single day. So here we have patties, we have bratwurst. Bratwurst, same category as sausage. You want to be careful. There's going to be things added to these that we want to be careful of, especially if you're following a very strict ketogenic diet. And so that really wraps up the meat case. We've gone through just about everything. So now we'll head on over to the dairy case. All right, so here we are headed into the dairy case, and I want to take just a quick moment to talk about yogurt. I'm just going to grab a product here. I mentioned earlier that milk contains sugar. It contains sugar in the form of lactose. And yogurt also has this, especially commercially made yogurt. So this is a whole milk yogurt. So if you're going to eat yogurt, this would be one of your best options, is choosing a whole milk yogurt. But it has, in 6 ounces, one serving, it has 10 grams of total sugars. And this is an unflavored yogurt that's coming from the lactose. So just be aware that yogurt really isn't the best option for a keto diet. You can actually get that lactose lower if you make it at home, but it's going to be very, very tangy. All right, so now heading over across the aisle, some things I want to mention is full-fat ricotta cheese. So you want to choose the highest fat content possible, and these are completely allowed on a keto diet. You just want to make sure that you're staying within your total net carb goals. So there's a number of different products here on the shelf, and then we have our sour creams. Again, we always want to choose full fat dairy. We never want to purchase a light or fat-free version. So your full fat sour cream are great choices. You can make your own dips. There's also prepared for you dips available. Just make sure again that you're reading those ingredients lists and looking for any hidden sugar in those. And then we have cream cheese. Cream cheese is something that you'll find in a lot of keto recipes. Again, make sure you're choosing the full fat options for cream cheese. And if you're looking at any kind of a flavored cream cheese, you want to make sure that there's not any added sugar in those. Again, just reading that ingredients list and not just reading your nutrition facts. Butter alternatives, we avoid butter alternatives. That's a personal health choice and another video that's coming up. So we avoid margarine butter alternatives, and we head straight for our real butter. So choosing real butter is a great fat source on a keto diet. If you can afford, and if organic is available, I do encourage that, but that is not feasible for everyone. So I want to encourage you to start with where you are and what you have. Eggs. Eggs are one of the perfect foods on the keto diet. We eat eggs, 3-4 times a week. So a couple scrambled eggs with some cheese thrown in, or maybe you put a couple scrambled eggs on top of half of an avocado, something like that. They're really easy. It's one of the easiest fast keto foods you can have. So we use it as, okay, we're really busy tonight, we need to have dinner, what are we going to have? So that's kind of our go-to. Eggs are our go-to meal for quick and easy keto on the weeknights. But on the other side, we're heading into milk and cream. And again, I talked about milk. Milk does contain sugar. And so in one cup, you have 11 grams of sugars, and that is the lactose. But in your coffee, so it's like, okay, what am I going to drink in my coffee? All right, so what you're going to choose is your heavy whipping cream. Other options would be almond milk, and you want to make sure that you're choosing the unsweetened almond milk. Flavor's okay. You can get the vanilla unsweetened almond milk if you're looking for flavor. So that's an option. You can also mix together heavy cream and almond milk if you want something a little more dense and creamy, more like a real creamer. Or you can find a number of different keto coffee creamer recipes right here at Tara's Keto Kitchen over in the recipes section. So now we're gonna head on over, what we're coming through up now is like your biscuits, bagels, things like that. So we're gonna skip through there and we're gonna head into what Hy-Vee has. It's called a health market. And this is where you find a lot of your healthier food choices. And so something unique that we've done at this Hy-Vee only is this weekend we went through and we labeled foods in the health market that are Tara's Keto Kitchen approved. So as we go through, you will notice those signs. So let's head on over there. All right, here we are in the health market and they have a separate dairy case. And so here is our heavy whipping cream. You can see that it's been labeled with a sign that says Tara's Keto Kitchen approved. So heavy whipping cream. You do not want the half and half. You want to choose the heavy whipping cream. Why is that? Well, if we take a look at the nutrition facts and we put them side by side, the half and half has 1 gram of carbs per serving and 1 gram of sugar, and a serving is 2 tablespoons. So in a pinch, if you're at a coffee shop, for example, and all they have is half and half, maybe put a tablespoon in and you're about at half of a carb, and you're probably going to be just fine, unless you're going to drink that all day long. Heavy whipping cream in 1 tablespoon has 0 carbs. So you just want to make sure that you are paying attention to what you're choosing. And the reason that half and half has more carbs is because it's half and half. It's half cream, half milk. So that's how you can remember it. It's half and half. Many companies, such as this one, have come out with creamers that are unsweetened, and that this one's a blend of coconut cream and almond milk. So this is also a quick and easy creamer. You could take this home, you could put a tablespoon of vanilla extract in it and maybe some stevia drops or mix in some Bocha Sweet, and all of a sudden you have a sweetened vanilla creamer. So you can really be creative and kind of create your own favorites. All right, so here we are in the health market dairy case, and I'm just going to point out there's another whole milk organic cottage cheese here, and some more sharp cheddar cheese. Parmesan cheese is a great choice on the keto diet. And I want to point out that Applegate Farms has one of the cleanest salamis, bacon, sausages that you can find, because they tend to not add as much sugar, and they actually have a bacon. This bacon is specifically no sugar. So now we're going to go through the bulk of the health market and point out some of our favorite keto products. All right, so now we are entering the first grocery aisle in the health market, and you can see our labels here, Tara's Keto Kitchen approved. And so this Coconut Crunch cereal is something that my husband is currently in love with. It's a great crunchy cereal option. Now, it is expensive, I'll warn you that. A lot of these keto products are, but it has very clean ingredients. So again, I want to read and I want to check out and notice that this has 10 servings in this container. So 1/10 of this box has 18 grams of carb and 8 dietary fiber. So a serving of this does have 10 grams of carbohydrates, so keep that in mind, but it does not have any added sugar. So why would this be allowed on the keto diet? Well, this would be allowed for someone who is very active, very into fitness, and does heavy workouts. It is actually good for them to have a little bit more carbs. So my husband eats this regularly. I might have a grain or two. That's not something that I would include. There's been the companies coming out with a number of noodles. You may have seen these miracle noodles type things and wonder what these are. And what they are is they're made from konjac root or glucoman, same thing. It's all fiber, basically. They're pretty much tasteless, but you want to be careful is some of the sauces in some of these. So here we have the noodles, which are fine, but if we go up one shelf, we start to find some flavored noodles. Very cool, easy. But if you take a close look at the ingredients list, you're going to find sugar on here. So you just got to be careful with that. So then there are some coconut wraps available in a variety of different flavors. So that's a possibility. All right, so then we come up on some of our Primal Kitchen products. So Primal Kitchen has some great products for the keto diet. So ketchup is one thing that you're going to find a lot of hidden sugar in. And then you're going to find some different barbecue sauces, and then a number of different salad dressings. So on your salad dressings, you really want to just take a moment and make sure that there's not sugar in the ingredients list, because some of them do contain a little bit of extra sugar. So things like your Caesar and your ranch are pretty safe choices. And then they also have a really great avocado oil mayonnaise that doesn't have any added sugar. So Primal Kitchen and also Chosen Foods has a great avocado oil mayo without any hidden sugars. Speaking of avocado oil is our cooking oil of choice. This is what we use pretty much all the time. Avocado oil, and then olive oil and coconut oil are our big three, and of course butter, real butter. And you can find more and more sprays. They're out of stock right now, but they usually have a Chosen Foods avocado oil spray like this. This is an olive oil spray for just the quick cooking applications. And then ghee. So what the heck is ghee? Ghee is just clarified butter. It's great for sauteing, searing on toast, well, keto toast, right? So it's got a higher smoke point than butter. So it's got 485-degree smoke point, so that's why a lot of people like to use ghee instead of butter in their cooking. So another option, of course, is our MCT oil, and this is probably the most famous, most recognizable brand out there. So you have MCT oils, and one thing to note is the MCT oils are also really great to cook with because they also have a high smoke point. So they're also fantastic for making salad dressings. And MCT oil will help your body produce more ketones. So again, if you've hit a plateau, MCT oil might be something you want to start. Maybe switch out your old oils for using cooking with MCT oil. Start making your own salad dressings, you know, like a balsamic vinaigrette. Of course, you have to be very careful with the balsamic vinegar because it contains sugar, but you can do like a white balsamic or something like that. But make it with MCT oil, and that'll kind of supercharge your keto diet. And now we're into sweeteners. So we actually don't use Swerve because of some of the fibers in it. Our favorite one is Bocha Sweet, and this is one of the only grocery stores in the country that stock Bocha Sweet, 2 here in our area right now. So if your grocery store does not stock it, ask for it. So Bocha Sweet is our favorite one, and then we use stevia, which is actually in a different section, so I will talk to you about that there. The only other one here is our Swerve. But again, here we find, on the bottom shelf, we find coconut flour and almond flour. We saw those also in the bulk foods market. So you can buy a little bit larger bag here. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on how much you're going to buy. You can buy pounds and pounds in the bulk food market. We've got some chocolate chips here. So Bocha has an 100% cacao chocolate chip, so those are great. We avoid Lily's because they have, Lily's has Inulin in them, and if you're diabetic, if you have any metabolic disorder, things like that, Inulin can spike your blood sugar, so it's something to avoid. And that's, if you've been eating Lily's and you're stuck in a plateau, that might be something to skip out on. And then there's one like superfood creamer, so you're looking for a powdered coffee creamer. This Laird's brand has an unsweetened superfood creamer that's made with coconut milk powder and some coconut oil mixed together. And so 1 teaspoon has 1 carb. So you are going to find that coconut products, naturally sweet coconut is, so it does have a little bit of carbs in it, so you want to make sure you're watching your serving sizes. So we touched on chocolate here just a minute ago, and here is another option of 100% cacao chocolate. Now 100% is pretty stinking dark. So we will, on a keto diet, every once in a while, we'll go between like 85% and 100%, find a dark chocolate we like in there, and that's what we'll enjoy on occasion, you know, when we need just something a little sweet or a little chocolatey. A lot of the paleo bars, a lot of the keto bars, we'll talk about that in a minute, but they're actually not really great for the keto diet. So remember that just because a product is labeled keto or it's labeled keto friendly does not automatically mean that it is. It's just a marketing term, just like low carb is just a marketing term. So I just want to encourage you not to trust that and to learn to do this due diligence and this research yourself. So here we are with pork rinds. Pork rinds are a great alternative to chips. When you want something crunchy, you know, you want to make maybe my keto queso dip or, you know, any kind of a dip for maybe a football game or a get-together. with friends. We have a couple preferred brands. We like the 4505s and we like the Epic, and that's because they're fried in pork fat. We don't really like it when we see like these other ones are fried in sunflower oil. Sunflower oil can be an inflammatory oil to the body. It can oxidize just like your vegetable oils, so we personally tend to avoid vegetable oils, sunflower oils, things like that. So we avoid canola oil, and we focus on olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, ghee, butter. All right, so here I want to point out we have some coconut milk in a container. So this is a real coconut milk. When you open the can, it's going to have a layer of fat on the top, which is the coconut cream. So just pointing that out. You can also find it not refrigerated, and you see we have our label here. So now we're going to come over here to the frozen food case. And I know that this can be really confusing with your cauliflower crust pizzas, because it seems like there's brand after brand coming out with cauliflower crust pizzas. And I want to caution you, because a lot of those cauliflower crust pizzas also contain rice flour. And of course we don't eat grain on a ketogenic diet. So you've really got to take a moment and read the ingredients list. There's only a couple brands that I know of in the frozen food section currently, as of this video recording date, that are keto friendly. So you've got this Cali flour. I'll pull one out. So these are keto friendly. Inside you're going to find 2 crusts, and you have to make your pizza your own. You have to build it from the ground up. So it's a little bit more involved, takes a little bit more time, but it's keto friendly, it's done for you. The other product that I know about is the Real Good Foods, and Hy-Vee is stocking those here within the next few weeks here in this case, but they're not in yet. So those are a done for you, already put together pizza that you just toss in your oven and you bake, and those are keto friendly, and they're quite good for a keto pizza. So I would encourage you to give those a try, or request your grocery store carry those locally. All right, so here we are in front of the ice cream, and Hy-Vee carries this Rebel brand, and Enlightened also has a keto brand of ice cream that's just come out. So those are 2 keto-friendly brands, and you see here on the label, hopefully you can see that, there's different carb counts for each ice cream, and that's actually for the entire pint. So that's kind of cool. I like how they did the labeling with that. So these are ice creams that we consider keto-friendly. All right, coming back into the health market, for those of you who are soda drinkers and are worried about missing soda, maybe you do miss soda, Zevia is a good product to start with, to start weaning yourself off of soda. Eventually, a lot of people will move into a sparkling water. This is a flat water, and then you've got your flavored sparkling waters. So these are all options, alternatives to drinking soda that you can use on a keto diet just to kind of wean yourself off. You'll find that over time your sweet tooth will become less and less. And so, I mean, I remember 10 years ago I tried one of these flavored sparkling waters and I thought, who would drink this? Like, yuck. But today they actually taste sweet when I drink a flavored sparkling water. So it does change over time. All right, we already talked about nuts over in the bulk food section, but here we have some more. Again, check your ingredients list. Some dark chocolates. There's just one here that's 88% cacao that you could choose as a snack every once in a while, just one little piece. And then we come into the cooking oils. There's a lot of great cooking oils we can use on the keto diet. This algae oil is a fairly new product from Thrive, and it's absolutely delicious. Avocado oil, you've got some more avocado oils. Make sure that, like, here's a blend of avocado oil and olive oil, so that would be a great choice. Again, we encourage you to avoid vegetable oils, canola oil, sunflower oil. A lot of those are inflammatory oils and have an oxidative response in your body. You've got coconut oils. When you're looking at your coconut oils, just double check that they don't have added sugar. A couple of these do that are flavored. So now we're into some baking ingredients. So some recipes will call for like unsweetened coconut flakes, and this is where you can find different unsweetened coconut flakes. There's actually 3 brands here, so there's quite a big selection here. Again, we've got our chocolate chips, and we would want to stay between 85% and 100. 100 is, of course, pure chocolate, no sugar, so that's pretty brave of you if you like 100% cacao. And then we have our almond flours. Again, you're pretty much just going to find the blanched almond flour. That's the most popular one, the easiest one to bake with. And your coconut flours. All right, here we're back into sweeteners. Xylitol. We already talked about Bocha Sweet. Xylitol is a keto-friendly sweetener. Some people can't tolerate this. Some people will get a lot of digestive upset. So proceed with caution with your xylitol. A note on the stevia packets, on any of the packets. If you, this Sweet Leaf brand is one of my favorite brands, but if you take a look at the ingredients, you're going to find inulin as the first ingredient. And we talked earlier about inulin being one of those fibers that can spike blood sugar. So we avoid the packets, we go straight on over to our drops. We like to get the drops. They come in all different flavors. So like hazelnut, for those of you who like to sweeten coffee and love hazelnut, English toffee, cinnamon, orange. There's tons of flavors of these that are available. Another brand, Nature's Way. I always do take a quick check, even on products that I use all the time, because sometimes things change and labels will change. Parchment paper is a big boost to baking. If you're doing much keto baking, I actually love this brand of parchment paper too. All right, before we leave this section, we're coming up on the nut butters. And we haven't talked about nut butters yet, but actually over in our bulk section, and you may have this in your store too, you can actually make your own nut butters with normal ingredients. So I would encourage you to give that a try if you have time. Otherwise, you really have to be careful with your nut butters because most of them are going to contain added sugar. So what you're looking for example, with this one, the ingredients are almonds, and that's what you want to see with your nut butters. Maybe almonds and salt, maybe peanuts and salt. So this brand has no sugar or salt added. They've been kind enough to label it on the front. I always double check that. So you can see here we've just got a couple. Justin's has one peanut butter that has no sugar. We have East Wind with an almond butter with no sugar, and then these two products. All right, so here we are in the supplement section. We're still in our health market. And I get quite a few questions about, okay, how do I make a smoothie that's keto friendly? So you can use something like an unflavored hemp protein as an option. Again, with these, you've got to turn them around. You've got to read the labels. Garden of Life has come out with a doctor-formulated keto product, Keto Fit. Again, keep in mind that this is just a marketing term. So happens that these do deliver on their promise, and they are keto-friendly. So there's a chocolate and a vanilla with 1 net carb per serving on each one. Ancient Nutrition has some collagen. You shouldn't find carbs in collagen powders, so just always double check. And then Ancient Nutrition has some keto proteins, and then of course your bone broth proteins. So just take a look at those. Those are some options for making shakes. And then what about pre-workouts? So a lot of us like to take pre-workouts before we do strength training, maybe cut down on muscle soreness, get a little bit better workout. Our favorite one is going to be Bocha Beets. It's made with Bocha Sweet. And it's very well formulated for a ketogenic diet. This is the one that we personally use. We also like that it doesn't have any caffeine in it. We get our caffeine maybe from coffee or another source if we need it, but we like to have something that doesn't have that. Then there's this other brand here by Garden of Life that's called Energy and Focus. All right, and I want to wrap up this video with talking about Keto Bars. So this is just open bars. There's a number of different brands. I don't want to pick on any one brand, but a number of brands that are labeled keto right on the box. And I'm going to just tell you real quick what I look for in these to make sure that they fit my keto lifestyle. So this is just an example, not trying to pick on anybody, but here I have the label opened up, and right away I see, you know, some fine ingredients. There's a lot of ingredients as I'm reading through here. But what I don't like to see is the rice flour. So there's rice flour in these bars. So that to me says, okay, well, this isn't something I would eat on a keto diet because I don't eat grain. So I put that back. On some of the other bars, you're going to find inulin. You're going to find some like soluble corn fiber. Or maltodextrin, and maltodextrin is sometimes a corn fiber. Maltodextrin is kind of a big bucket for a lot of different types of fiber. So I avoid things with those kind of additives. So now we're over here in the baking aisle, and I just wanted to take a quick note on extracts. So take a minute to read the ingredients list in your extract, and this one you're going to find corn syrup in it, and this one's not going to have any added sugar. So it's just a quick moment or two to glance at your ingredients list to make sure that you choose something that doesn't have added sugar. Now there's absolutely no choices without added sugar. You're probably going to be okay because you're using such a small amount in a recipe, but I'm a big believer if we can avoid the sugar, let's avoid it. So here we are back in the baking aisle. This is a gluten-free baking section. So what I'm looking for is, so whenever you do any kind of gluten-free baking, including keto baking, you're going to need something to mimic the effects of normal wheat flour, which contains gluten. So we do that with a couple different ingredients. Popular is xanthan gum, guar gum, also gelatin can be used, and the konjac root, the same type of stuff that those noodles we talked about earlier are made of. These ingredients, they're great to help bind the food together. And so again, mimicking that binding mechanism that gluten has. So how much do you use? On the back of each of these are going to be just some quick instructions on how to use them. Now, if you can find a smaller, like this amount of either one of these is going to last you forever. So don't think that this is something you're going to have to keep buying and replenishing. It's really just an investment, upfront investment in being able to make your own baked goods that are keto friendly. And you'll find tons of recipes for baked goods here on our YouTube channel, Tara's Keto Kitchen YouTube channel, because that's something that we like to have around our house. So you'll notice that we really stuck to the outer edges of the grocery store, and then we came into the health market. And I like to think of the health market as like a mini grocery store where you're going to find your healthier options for food. Now, you are going to find a few things maybe in the center of the grocery store, maybe that they're just not placed in a market like this. And if you don't have anything like a health market, hopefully you can find a lot of these things scattered throughout the store. But I would encourage you to talk to the manager of your grocery store if there's products that you want to have stocked that aren't stocked. Usually they're very open to those conversations. So I thank you so much for joining us here today as we walked through our local grocery store and shared many of our favorite keto ingredients and some different tips and tricks for reading nutrition labels and what to look for, and throughout all kinds of different ingredients. So we had a lot of fun filming this for you, and I hope that you had a lot of fun watching it. So please subscribe to our channel, click that little bell icon so that you're notified when we post new videos each week, and join in the community. You can find a link to our free keto support group below this video, and we invite you to join that. So until next time,